Hey, this is Peter Reznicek from the Weekly Options Room at ShadowTrader.net, and I wanted to give you an update on a few markets for this shadow short here on this Thursday the 29th. And so, starting with this S&P daily, we're really kind of in a no man's land because the midpoint of this box here is right about here, and you can see we closed kind of the low of the day, the low of the session here was kind of right down to that midpoint. And I'll be honest with you, I don't really know what to make of the markets here at this point. You're above the 8, which is good, so you're still kind of bullish. And you've got this very large gap below us that is as yet unfilled. And what I would say is just keep this gap in mind, in that the longer it stays unfilled, kind of the more bullish it is, because you're just kind of building pressure for an up move. But it is there, and markets generally don't like gaps, and it could get filled. There's also a good amount of space, I think, here between the 8 and the 21. And, you know, when there's potential that we trade like inside of it at some point, that we can get there. So I don't really know. My main sort of bias here, if there is one, is really relatively neutral. I've got a number of plays left into this week that are just kind of rolling off for tomorrow's expiry, and I really don't have anything major on for the June 6th expiry, which is the next weekly, because I really like to time everything with my bias in the broad market, and right now I'm just not seeing it. So it's really just kind of sideways here. In the NDX, I would say the situation is similar. You can see I've boxed off the same area for you. This is a classic like dark cloud cover, which is somewhat of a bearish sign. It's when you open up strong and then you fall down into range. And you can see that the NASDAQ 100 has the same gap underneath it, unfilled. Same very large spread now between the 8 and the 21, which is interesting. So that could kind of, you know, price could come into that area. And, you know, same thing in terms of the congestion area being here, but the NASDAQ is obviously a bit stronger because we just talked about the low end of Friday touching down to the midpoint, and this did not do it. So it's just kind of right there. So do we continue to grind higher? I have to be honest with you, I don't know. This is an extremely news-driven market, and the tariff on, tariff off thing just seems to be happening every single day, along with some you know, semiconductor stuff, barring shipments to China. I mean, it's just been a week of just a barrage of news constantly, just kind of going back and forth, and the futures have been reacting. So my main takeaway here, if I could leave you with, is bullish, or rather, excuse me, neutral bias, and just one of caution, because the broad market is not really giving us any signals really at the moment. All right, beyond that, let me show you something that kind of is giving a signal at the moment, which is Bitcoin. I find it interesting that Bitcoin has come down to its 21 here, almost, very, very close. I would like to see it hold this congestion area high here. I would like to kind of not see price below it, but this 21 I think is a decent first entry for a pullback buy, so keep that in mind. That could be happening. I mean, right now, when you see this video this evening, you may be interested in taking a position there on either Bitcoin futures or the coin itself, or, you know, related issues such as GBTC or MSTR or whatnot. And then, of course, my favorite thing to talk about this year is gold, because it's the trade that just is working really well this year. The wedge is tightening, and I do not have a position right now, full disclosure, and I have not been short puts for a couple of days. We did a couple of those, I think, earlier in the week. We did one Friday and then Monday, I'm not sure. So we're still doing the short put play on the futures, but I haven't done anything the last couple of days on it because the pricing is not that great. I'm looking for short strikes down in here around the trendline support. And basically all you want to know here is just that the wedge is tightening. You know, that's this area right here. And at some point there's going to be a break, which I think is going to be like this, but there's going to be some more noise in here. And so as far as a buy is concerned, on these gold futures, I am waiting for a little bit more weakness. I personally didn't think this was enough. I didn't take anything long here. So I'm looking for something to kind of fill up this area a little more. So I think if I could probably get below this Thursday's low, I would probably start to be looking to get some contracts down in here, looking for the push back to the other side of that trend line. And then, like I said, eventually I believe that the move is higher, that this will continue to tighten. You can consider this like one long kind of consolidation, and then the move will be up out of there, all right? And that is all for now. That's my sort of state of the markets on this Thursday, May 29th. Hey, this is Peter from ShadowTrader.net, and I just wanted to thank you for watching this video. If you enjoyed this content, please hit the like and subscribe buttons. And if you'd like to trade live with me every day in my weekly options advisory, then check out the link in the description below. I wish you good trading, and I'll see you in the room.